Good morning from day 15 on the Camino, walking from Castro Jerez to Framista. As you can probably see behind me, it's just a spectacular sunrise this morning. Got 25 kilometers ahead of us. It's about 7:45 in the morning, trying to get as much of it as done as possible before the sun gets high in the sky and it gets really warm. I think it's going to be about 22, 23 degrees Celsius today. Had a pretty good night's sleep last night in the hostel, and I'm not feeling too bad on the aches and pains front, which I don't know if that's because the roads have been flatter the last few days or if because my body's getting more used to walking every day and the routine of that. Anyway, looking forward to seeing what today brings. There's nothing like a really steep incline about 15 minutes after breakfast. I've already got a sweat on. I'm gonna have to take the jacket off, and it's still only about 8:10. So we just hit the 10k mark on our walk into Framista, about another 15 kilometers to go after the initial steep incline up that hill, which was a rude awakening so soon after breakfast. The walk has mainly just been across a really nice flat path over green fields. So not much in terms of the scenery other than green fields and blue sky, but it's been really pleasant. We're about to hit a town now, so it would be really good if there is a form of refreshment ahead. So as hoped for, the little town did have somewhere to stop for some refreshment. Just had a coffee and a bit of toast. The poor old man running the place, though, he must have been over 80 years old, and he was a little overwhelmed, I think, by a big group of pilgrims descending. The service was pretty slow, and he was getting grumpier and grumpier, more cantankerous by the moment. Anyway, energy levels have been topped up. About another 15 kilometers to go now, I think, until we reach Framista. Considering maybe carrying on a little bit further, but we'll see how we feel once we get there. So the 15k mark has just been passed. It's scorching, scorching hot. It's only the 1st of May today as well. Alex has had to take some shelter under some trees about, I don't know, half a k back because he's really feeling it. And I can see that there's another town coming up, and I'm pretty hungry, so I'm gonna power on through and hopefully get there and find some kind of lunch or something. But wow, there's like hardly any clouds and there's no protection from the sun here at all. So yeah, really, really warm and dripping with sweat. So we made it to Framista today in just under 5 hours, and that was 25.5 kilometers. And going across the Meseta, which is like the vast green expanse of nothingness, it was really tough in the full heat of the sun, and I probably didn't have enough water with me. I did end up with a bit of like a heat stroke headache, so I should have played that a bit differently perhaps. Now, in Framista, I don't want to be mean about the place, but there's not a lot here other than one pretty church. It's a really, really dull town. I don't know if you ever read any of the Jack Reacher books, but it's the kind of place where the character Jack Reacher would get trapped for a week and clean up some problems and not be able to escape. Anyway, 19 kilometers tomorrow. Looking forward to that because it'll just be a bit of a rest after today. And got a night in the community albergue this evening, so we'll see what kind of snore fest that turns out to be. So good morning from day 16 on the Camino, walking from Framista to carry on today. It's only 18.5 kilometers, which is obviously a lot less than yesterday, and that was quite punishing in the heat of the sun. It's really gloomy this morning. It's spitting with rain at the moment, and I think the forecast says that's going to get heavier. I slept well last night in the community municipal albergue, but that is probably because I had to take 2 cocodamol tablets for the horrible headache that I had. Anyway, I'm feeling refreshed and looking forward to getting to the next spot. So we are 10.8 kilometers into today's walk, and everything seems pretty monotonous, or it feels pretty monotonous. The landscape doesn't seem to change, it's all very flat and looks the same. There doesn't seem to be many people around today either. We haven't found any bars, cafes or shops open at all for a coffee or anything to snack on, and the breakfast in the albergue this morning was super lame, so I'm a bit peckish now, and I'm kind of grumpy too because I just took some money out from the cash point and it charged me €7, which is probably something to do with Brexit. I don't want to take money out all the time, but I kind of have to after the €300 wallet incident, and if I take a big amount of money again in one go, I'm just worried about losing it. So yeah, I'm getting my butt kicked at the moment by ATM charges. Anyway, another, I don't know, 8 kilometers to go until we reach Carry-On and this monotonous walk today. So we arrived in Carry-On today after 3 hours and 45 minutes of walking, and that was 17.5 kilometers. And by the time we got here, we both felt we still had energy left, and we didn't feel like staying in Carry-On. There didn't appear to be much really in terms of things to look at other than a pretty church, and I feel a bit pretty churched out at the moment. So yeah, we had some food and a drink and cancelled our hostel reservation. The only thing is the next town to stay in is another 17.5 kilometers, so we're going to walk for another 4 hours now. It's not too hot, so that's one of the reasons why we feel like we can carry on. So I might be regretting that in a bit. I literally don't have anything interesting to say about this 17-kilometer stretch of nothingness. It's just flat tarmac road first, then dirt track road, then green fields with the odd yellow rapeseed field thrown in for good measure. It's been really bland. I called my mum and I listened to The Cure's 1989 album Disintegration in its entirety. Still got about another hour and 20 minutes to go until we reach tonight's destination, and I can't wait now. It's going to be a really long day. So that's it, day 16 over and done with. Turned out to be a 36.5 kilometer walk, almost 7.5 hours of walking, and it was absolutely brutal. The last 17 kilometers, I can't even begin to imagine what that would be like in the height of summer. So I'm kind of grateful that it was actually overcast and windy and cloudy today, because yeah, in the heat, that would just, it would be so debilitating, it really would. I've got a massive blister on my right toe, which one of my fellow pilgrim friends is offering to lance for me in the hostel bar in a moment. So I'm currently contemplating whether I'm going to pluck up the courage to allow him to do that. And we've only got a 20-kilometer day tomorrow, which is our reward for today's efforts. So I'm going to go back now, get a good night's sleep, and maybe get my blister lanced by an older British gentleman. Let's see how that pans out.
As always, thank you again for watching. Feel free to drop any Camino questions that you have into the comments section below, and I will do my best to answer them for you as soon as I can. And do hit that subscribe button because it really does motivate me into editing the next video.